Hey, it's Aaron Kushler and welcome to another video from EBSC. In today's video, I'm going to show you 3 dead ball exercises you can do for the posterior chain. So you probably have dead balls sitting around at your gym and probably have seen them and wondered, well, what the hell am I going to do with these things? I'm going to run through 3 exercises that you can do today using the posterior chain and help to strengthen that up. So let's get into it. The first one we're going to look at is the dead ball deadlift. So this is a really foundational movement. When you're starting to do dead ball training, especially when the dead ball gets really heavy, you want to master this. Once you get this, you can pretty much do anything with them. The dead ball deadlift really helps to build up the hip strength. Unlike the normal deadlift where you've got the bar sitting up off the ground, the dead ball has to start from the ground. So you're going to instantly get a greater range of motion. Because of that greater range of motion, you're going to build strength off the floor. It can actually aid your deadlift, things like your cleans, your snatches, anything you're doing with a barbell. Using a dead ball is going to carry over to that. You're also going to get increased core stability. It's very hard to pick up a dead ball because it moves around. It's an odd object. It takes a bit more core stability to hang on to the thing. So let's get into the technique of that.
So we're going to start with the dead ball in between our feet. Then we're going to roll the dead ball onto our hands, take a deep breath in, and we're going to stand up like we would a normal deadlift, making sure that our back is as straight as we can get it. It's not actually going to be dead flat like a deadlift because of the ball coming off the floor. So it might be slightly rounded, but we still want to maintain as straight as we can get it. So stand up really powerfully, extending the hips and squeezing the glutes at the top of the movement.
All right, and exercise number 2 is going to be a bear hug hinge. Okay, so now that we've got the basics using the dead ball deadlift, we can get into a bear hug hinge. This is commonly seen like a good morning exercise that you do with a barbell, except this time we've got the load in front and we're doing the similar sort of movement. With the hinge, it's going to help build strong hip extensions. Really, really beneficial when we're doing deadlifts, when we're doing squats, cleans, snatches, anything with kettlebells, any type of movement where we're hinging at the hips, this is going to help tremendously. It teaches proper bracing. You cannot do this properly unless you are bracing hard. As soon as you go to lift up, if you're not braced really, really hard, it's going to cripple you. It's going to pull you forward, much like what happens in a front squat. So this is really good in the carryover for front squatting to keep those elbows up nice and high and keep the bar from falling forward. And obviously it's going to build a strong back. So because of the positioning where the load is, it's going to help train the erectors in the back as well as the lats and especially the upper back, just to hold it against our chest throughout the movement. So let's get into the technique of that.
Starting out like the dead ball deadlift, we're going to deadlift it up onto our knees, hug it in tight against the chest, and take a deep breath in. From there, we're going to stand up by pushing the hips forward and squeezing the glutes. Initiate the downwards phase by pushing the hips back first, rather than just reaching over. Make sure we're pulling our shoulder blades back and down and engaging our lats to keep our back nice and flat when we do the movement. Try to initiate the movement using the glutes and the hamstrings rather than just using your back.
And lastly, we've got the dead ball carry. Now, you might have noticed I've put these in a specific order because you need them in this order to do what you're going to be doing with them. We've gone dead ball deadlift, then you're going to be able to do the bear hug hinge. Once you've got that, you can basically do a dead ball carry. This carries off these 2 movements here and basically adds on to that. So we're going to be taking that dead ball for a long walk. That's going to help build up the posterior chain, the endurance of those muscles to be able to continually keep going time and time again. We're also going to be looking at increasing the bracing endurance, holding core tension for a longer period of time now. So if we're doing high reps with a barbell, this is really important so we don't lose positioning or our core stability, which could lead to injury if we do. So this is going to be really helpful to build that up long term. And it's going to increase the volume of the back. So the time under tension, so we've got here tucked time under tension. So if you're looking to actually build size in your upper back, particularly high volume work, so we've got to have a lot of time under tension, it's going to help build up the musculature of the upper back. And this is a really fantastic exercise for that, because you're basically holding an isometric hold. So we're not really moving, but we're holding tension and keeping those muscles engaged for a long time, so which increases that time under tension. So let's get into the technique of that.
So just like the dead ball deadlift and the bear hug hinge, we're having the dead ball in between our feet, standing it up onto our knees where we're pulling it into our chest using our back. From there, we're carrying the dead ball by keeping it against our chest and pulling our arms together, aiming to squeeze the ball as we walk. You should be feeling this in your hamstrings and your glutes as well as your back. Your whole posterior chain has to work overtime to carry the ball. Here we are picking it up onto the knees, nice big breath, and we're carrying the dead ball for distance. Very simple exercise, yet very effective.
All right guys, so we've gone over the technique of those movements. Now let's look at how to actually put them into your program. Let's start with the dead ball deadlift. So this is obviously going to be included on lower body days where we're training movements similar to the deadlift. So if we're actually doing deadlifts, squats, power cleans or snatches, anything of that nature, this is the day we're going to put these in. We want to go for about 3 to 4 sets, and we're only going 4 to 6 reps. So we really want to focus on proper technique with these and trying to go heavy. We want to train our posterior chain to be able to handle heavier loads, which are then going to benefit all of our barbell movements. 3 to 4 sets, 4 to 6 reps, you'd be aiming to push the weight on these. Next, we have the bear hug hinge. So this is very similar to the deadlift, but it trains a smaller range of motion than the deadlift does. So we can afford to do it on the same day, so lower body workouts again. 3 to 4 sets, and this time we're going a little bit higher in the actual reps that we're doing. So 6 to 8 reps. As we saw in the video previously, we've only got a short range of motion where we're extending, we hold for a split second, come back down, and we're training that movement. So we've got a short range of motion so we can afford to have slightly higher reps. Again, going for reasonably heavy. If you can't manage the same weight that you did with the dead ball deadlifts, go a little bit lighter and just go for quality reps, making sure that our back is as straight as we can get it. And lastly, we've got the dead ball carry. Now, honestly, you can do these on any of the days that you want, but what I'd recommend is actually do them on upper body days where we've done things like pull-ups, maybe you've done any type of rowing, anything where we're training our upper back in particular, because this is going to help finish it off. Again, as we said, we're increasing the time under tension of those muscles in the upper back. So we're going to chuck this in on upper body days. Again, 4 to 6 sets on this one. Slightly higher, we want to increase that volume there. And we're going for distance. So instead of reps now, we're at distance. So 30 to 40 meters each set. So pick a weight that you can manage to carry that distance. That's also going to provide you a challenge as well. So 4 to 6 sets, 30 to 40 meters on your upper body days. If you want to start adding them in on lower body days, depending on how your workout's gone, you can do that as well. So do that at the very end to finish off with. So guys, if you like this video and you found it helpful, click on the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you stay notified of more content that we're going to be releasing. We've got more videos coming up showing you how to use objects like these to better your strength and your performance. I'll see you next time.